Hey, good morning, everyone, and welcome to the PivotBoss Pre-Market Report for March 20th, 2017. I am Frank Ochoa, aka PivotBoss. Here's a look at the daily time frame of the ES. We continue to see an uptrending market here in the ES. So far, nothing has really changed overall, but we have found ourselves within a range up here and haven't been able to shake out of it just yet. 2401 continues to be the high after we saw that spike high form. We had an extreme reversal pattern form, which led to a push back down. Didn't quite test our lower edge here at 2350. Instead, came into 2354 and is now just kind of chopped around our 2376 half key pivot. Overall, this thing continues to trend up, so pullbacks are still to be defended at the moment. 2376, I mentioned last week, is the pivot to watch here. So if there's any failure to see any acceptance above this pivot, I would be cautiously bearish for a retest back toward 2354 and 2350. But again, this thing has been very, very bullish. So even any size pullback here would still be a buying opportunity to recent highs. At the moment, we do have a weak key range from 2401 down to 2354, and that's why I'm referencing those levels. And again, a fade outside that low here could offer an opportunity to push this thing back up. Similarly, any failure to push beyond 2401 would offer an opportunity back down as this thing perhaps tries to establish acceptance and perhaps digest the recent move at these price levels. All right, let's take a look here at the intraday time frame. On an intraday basis here, you'll notice that price is below recent support here. This is about 2373s. Basically, that was previous support right there. In overnight trading, we've seen weakness down into it, and now bears are defending it from below. We do have a higher low that's come in, though. And so right now we have kind of resistance right here, 2373s. We have a potential higher low off 2370. So bulls are trying to keep that low bid and trying to run the buy stops into VPOC. That would take you into 2376, perhaps into the finishing value from Friday at 2377.5. Bears are trying to keep this area offered right now, but with higher lows, you could see the squeeze come back up, at least back toward recent highs. All right, let's take a look here at crude oil now. Here's crude oil. If we bring it to the higher time frame first, you'll notice with crude oil, we had a major rejection tail that formed last week. Here it is. I mentioned before, if bulls could defend 47.90 in the midpoint of that tail, we'll likely see a bounce into 51s. The midpoint of that impulse move from the recent high to that recent low is 51.06, it appears. And what I mentioned Friday to our trading room is we're likely going to see a little bit of a pullback. But any pullback, perhaps into 48.20, maybe even as low as 47.90, could still be a buying opportunity for a completion of this move into 51.06. Once we reach that midpoint, we solidify this as our key range, and now we have a large trading range here, a large key range to do business off of over the next several months. And we have extensions outside of that range as well. So for example, if price were to be offered through 47.09, the recent low, we have extensions at 43.12 and 39.16 that work out perfectly in our favor to the downside. Similarly, we have extensions to the upside. So this is the key range to watch. Initially this week, I'm going to be watching for signs that the early selling will be defended by bulls for a shot at capturing that 51.06. We'll see how it goes. Now taking a look at the intraday time frame, you'll see here, again, I like to bring my higher time frame bias into the lower time frame chart. So if I am swing bullish here, then overall we're looking for areas where we can do business and defend as buyers. You see this major LVN, significant LVN, that's 47.90. That's an important area. It's also below the VAL on this 5-day chart. So if price were to drop as low as that area, that would still be an opportunity to buy, both on a short-term basis back to value and then perhaps on a swing basis toward 51s. Below 47.90 likely opens up the door back toward 47.09, and we could be looking at much more weakness. At the moment, 42 still offers a zone as well. If price were to come in here, that could be a short-term area where bulls can defend. This is the better, higher time frame LVN zone that could offer a nice bounce as well. All right, let's take a look now at the NQ. Here's the NQ on a higher time frame basis. You'll notice that the NQ has been very, very bullish. And then recently, after the FOMC came out, we saw price rally away from the FOMC key level of 53.95.75, reach a high at 54.40, just 2 points shy of our target last week, and then price dropped back to 53.95s. And this is what I mentioned to our group. When you have a FOMC key level like this and you see it go bid immediately, as soon as you see rejection at some point, a day or two or more down the road, you're likely going to see that rejection lead right back to the FOMC level. That's why I posted. Because when you do see rejection, then you start to look to target it on the way back down and perhaps defend it again if you're a bull on the way up, because we are in an uptrend and that's still a key level that went bid in the prior time. So right now, bulls are keeping this 53.95 bid in addition to 54 for a shot at seeing new highs. The upside target this week could take us into the next monthly target, which would be 54.82s. That could be the next major zone up if this remains bullish. Bulls got to keep 53.95 bid. Otherwise, a return to 53.61 could be seen and perhaps down into the previous month's close of 53.35. So right now, key pivot to watch as we begin the week. On an intraday time frame, here it is. Bringing up the intraday at the moment. Again, you can see how bullish it was off that low. So right here, 53.95, that's the FOMC level. That is the low of the day. As soon as price hit it, a big return back up, a higher low off of value and the intraday VPOC. So right now, that shows very clear support. Should it be retested again, look to defend it as a bull. Not sure we get down there again, but if we do, still an area where bulls want to defend, 54s in general. This could work its way back to 54.25 today, with a shot at seeing 54.40 at some point soon. All right, let's take a look lastly at ZB. Here's the bonds. We've seen a push up overall. What I mentioned last week was the fact that we broke to the downside implies that this bounce could be a counter trend bounce for a shot at seeing new lows and to watch for stops below 47.12s. What we're seeing this morning is 1, 2, 3 day highs be rejected this morning. So price pushed above 3-day highs, could not maintain acceptance above those highs, and now those highs have been rejected and price is back below them. So short term, I would watch those 3-day highs for signs that bears are going to keep it offered today for a shot at retesting 147.12, and that could also eventually lead to weakness that pushes through that level and into the next downside target, which would be 143.24s, 143.20s. The next key level down. So right now, price needs to stay or should stay below 149.12 to 149.24, and that would keep the downside bias for the bears. Above that level would return the bias back to the bulls for a reshot at 153.20. So that's kind of the spread we're looking at right now. On the intraday basis, again, bringing our higher time frame bias into the lower time frame chart. Here is the previous session's high, and that is 3-day highs. Price pushes above it, double top up here, drops below it, bears make it resistance, and now we're seeing new lows. So short term, a return to 148.13 and as high as 148.16 could be an opportunity to sell for a push back into 147.24. That's 5-day VPOC. And any return into 148.20, as high as that zone, could still be an opportunity to defend for a push lower. So there's a couple of areas for bears to defend as price attempts to return back to value to start the week. All right, that's it for now. Let's see how this thing plays out heading into the rest of the week. Good luck, trade well, and happy Monday.